Ok, on va démarrer. On va démarrer. Ok, donc pour le premier slide, voilà. Bonjour à tous, mais je vais d'abord donner la parole à ma collaboratrice. C'est une petite tentative de dernière minute. Voilà. Est-ce qu'on entend là?
A real pleasure to welcome you on this new AI4GOV. Dear AI4Belgium members and aficionados, it is a real pleasure to welcome you on this new AI4GOV track to learn how AI can improve our services internally and for the Belgian citizens and companies.
Vous accueillir pour ce premier séminaire et cette relance du track AI4GOV. Donc on est capable de faire des choses assez incroyables ici. C'est la synthèse vocale, de l'animation computer vision. Et donc, qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire dans les services publics? Sorry, I will speak in English, so welcome to everybody. You've seen this as a teaser. We can do many things with AI. There is also limitation. We will talk about the use of AI within the public services today. So what is the agenda? Depending on the level in the room and on YouTube, I will say a few words on AI in Belgium and AI4Belgium, very short. What is AI? So I will try to define it in a concise way. What are the main categories of algorithm technologies, application? There are so broad vocabulary around it. And where are we now and why is it so important? And then the main focus, so AI in the public services, so how the government, what is the role that the government could have regarding AI in different ways, what are the various use cases we can identify, and I will give you also some examples from abroad, then takeaways and the next steps. So, thank you. A few words about AI in Belgium and AI4Belgium, if you do agree. So the general context is the European Coordinated Plan on AI that was published in 2018 and updated in 2021. So simply said, every country must define a strategy and a plan regarding AI. And it says two things. Even France is not big enough to face the global race between China and the US. And so we have to collaborate, and then we have to bet on trustworthy AI. We will see what we mean by trustworthy AI, but we will not use AI in Europe as it is done in the US or in China. That is the idea. So we have to collaborate. It is the case in Belgium. You see that there are many coalitions in the different countries. There are several structures. These are private initiative, public-private initiative, purely academic initiatives such as CLAIRE network or ELIS network, or governmental initiative. Here in the AI4Belgium, we try to have a really quadruple helix of innovation. So that means that we bring together all the actors from the public sector, from the private sector, from academia, and also from the civil society. That is really important. You know that Belgium is well ranked in the innovation scoreboard of the European Union. I think one of the key is managing the ecosystem. So in AI4Belgium, we have gathered most of the experts in Belgium. You are welcome, and everybody that is interested in AI is welcome, because we will provide expertise. We will also accompany you with a specific focus on the ethical and legal aspect. But most important also, because Belgium is a bit complicated, you know, at the political level. So AI is also a competence that is related and to the region, and so AI4Belgium is here to support the regional plan. So we have a plan in Flanders that has been launched in March 2019. There is a plan in Wallonia. There is many actors in Brussels, and there is an innovation plan, and the AI plan is coming. So we are here to support, not to decide. One objective is also that AI4Belgium is branded as a trademark in some way to say, okay, we are doing deep technologies in Belgium, and we want to help the region position themselves in the European and global landscape. What do we do? So we, in collaboration with the region, we are the observatory, we do technological economic watch, we do also a consultation platform. So for example, we published several position papers related to the ethics guideline, to the white paper of the European Commission, and so forth. We also try to maintain the agenda of the activities, meaning that you can fill your agenda with AI activities every day. But if we want to have impact, if we want to coordinate, we try to gather all the information from all the stakeholders, and in order to have a common agenda. So we do strategy and policy support, meaning we are contributing to the AI federal plan. We have contributed to the Walloon plan. We are in narrow collaboration with the other region. We also try to animate the ecosystem. We do organize national working group at the national level, and AI4GOV is one of this working group. We are also, for some initiative like the platform AI4EU, the national contact point of this European initiative. On the slide, you see also some event or project we've conducted. For example, the Elements of AI course that is supported by KU Leuven, by UC Louvain, by VIA and other actors. But this is a course that is accessible to every citizen in order to make their first step in AI. You see also on the slide, for example, mapping of all the companies. We have identified 439 companies that are AI producer or product builders or a service provider. And this is also great. I will not enter into every detail today. So we have many working groups depending on several verticals. AI4GOV is for the public services. AI4Good is quite the same. It's related to the societal challenges but owned by the private sector or the civil society. AI for Industry 4.0, it's in support of one of the priority of the region, Walloon and Flanders. AI for Services is not launched yet, and AI for Health, Energy and Mobility are really important. And AI for Media also has been launched in March. So every group here defines its own roadmap with the community. So hopefully, if you are here today, I hope we will interact. You will provide some ideas, and we will see what we can do together. So we have many ideas, but we can share. And then you have transversal groups, so meaning there are topics that are important for every verticals. So ethics and law, you've heard of that. So we are discussing at the moment the AI Act. It has been proposed by the European Commission. It is under discussion at the European Parliament and Council. And hopefully during 2023, we will have a regulation at the European level that is immediately applicable in the national law. Future of work and skills is probably the main challenge. It is not only about technological skills we have to acquire, but also the soft skills to face the changement of the labor market. Data governance is key. It's not only related to AI. There is the Data Governance Act, the Data Act. You know that, cybersecurity and infrastructure. So if we look at the Belgian landscape, we have 450 organizations that are in relation with AI4Belgium. More than 6,000 people are like members and aficionados. More people have attended the different events, but here you have the maybe most important institution, organization within Belgium. So you have in Brussels FARI, you have Sustain AI, and European Digital Innovation Hub that has been launched yet. You have the VUB Experience Center. Then in Flanders, you have the Data en Maatschappijkenniscentrum, Vlaamse AI Academy. You have also the Flanders AI Plan. And you have all the universities, but these universities are under the umbrella of the Flanders AI Research Program. But you can see that in Leuven, in Ghent, in other universities, all the labs are working together to create some new institutes. So the Leuven AI Institute has been launched, the Ghent AI Institute has been launched, and in Wallonia we have something that is quite unusual. So all the labs in AI from Walloon and Brussels are cooperating with the research center in order to have the trusted AI lab, which is called TRAIL. So we are here to help all these actors and to help you. So if we enter into the Belgian AI landscape, you can see that we are quite good at creating startups and scale-up, but we do not invest enough, meaning we are at the 6th rank regarding the number of scale-ups we have, but only at the 10th rank regarding the investment. 28% of the AI startups and scale-up have foreign branch, so we can also increase this. Regarding the research and technology transfer, so Belgium is above the average. The rate and quality of publication is above average in Europe. I will not enter into the detail today, but you can access all this information. So nowadays we are ranked at the 27th rank, but hopefully we will go into the top 20 in the next months and years. At the moment, depending on how we measure it, 20 to 25% of the companies do integrate AI. If we do consider at least 2 technologies related to AI or 2 kind of application, it's around 10, but this is on the average, the European average. If you count what the region put into that, or what the federal level put into that, we are over 60 million a year for AI deployment. That can be refined also. So what is AI? So what is your level? Who are beginners in the room and who are advanced experts? PhD in beginner, okay. No, who has already developed an AI program? Yeah, thank you. Who has already followed a Coursera class, MOOC, massive online course, or who is registered on elements of AI? Okay, who is interested in AI and wants to know more and what you can do within the public services? Okay, that's the majority. Okay, so pressure on my shoulders. Okay, so an attempt. So I did not succeed to have this full interaction. Promise for the next seminar we will provide this. But the idea is, okay, what are all the words you know about AI? So I did the exercise yesterday with the WooClub, yeah, in a few seconds. But okay, there are many concepts. Okay, we will try to clarify it. So the main thing is the problem of defining artificial intelligence with the word intelligence. So in the mind of Marvin Minsky, or the creator in Dartmouth College in '56, intelligence meant logical mathematical intelligence automatic demonstration of mathematical proofs, playing chess, and that was quite restricted. So the definition on the research aspect was, okay, artificial intelligence does what a man, a human being, is doing with some intelligence. Okay, so this is a recurrent definition. This is not clear, and this is not true at the same time, meaning, okay, nobody is a genius because he recognized his mother. Nobody is a genius because he's acquired its language, a modern language. But it has been proven that that was difficult for AI. So we now succeed in this area that were considered as not so difficult for the human brain. This is because also, if you look in the dictionary, the definition of intelligence, this is the word, I think, that changed the most since the 19th century. So now you know that you have emotional intelligence, collaborative intelligence, many different aspects. And so another definition that I would prefer from Ellen Rich is, as a research domain, AI is the domain that is interested in what human being is doing better than itself. Meaning, okay, if you do not understand common sense, it is a topic for AI, okay? And then, like character recognition, for example, it has been solved. Nobody in the post is reading what you've written on your envelope. It is done automatically. It is not yet no more really considered as artificial intelligence in the mindset of the people. So now AI has come out of the university, out of the research lab, and is applied every day. So the definition of Ellen Rich is not perfect, but it's related to the human being and all what happens from perception, internal processes, and action. So AI is vision, sense of touch, hearing, olfaction. We can do things in this domain that are very interesting. Gustation, internal processing, reasoning, classification, scheduling, learning, emotion also, creativity, and action, moving, robot, speaking, writing. We define, in France, we try to have an ontology, so define all the concept and put it in a structured way. So what we can have is that it is huge, and it is often related to the human sciences, philosophy, psychology, cognitive sciences, but also numerical humanities. So we are able, and I will show you that, we are able now to better understand how an author will write a roman, for example. Because he is different version of his roman, we can see that the text has moved, and we can better understand also human processes with that. So one key message is it is interdisciplinary. So, sorry for the title. There are different classifications that simplify the ontology I showed you, and I will get here on two big branches of artificial intelligence. The first one is what we call machine learning. Who knows about machine learning or have heard about machine learning? Everybody, okay. So these are bottom-up approaches. So this means that, simply said, you have the data, you learn from the data, and the artificial intelligence will learn a model, an algorithm, will produce an algorithm in order to realize some specific action. So it's really a bottom-up approach. The second part is top-down approach. So it is related to what we called in the 80s or the expert system that still exists and are largely used. So you will go to the expert, try to understand how they do to plan, for example, or schedule the manufacturing process if they have command, okay? And you will try in an intelligent way to simulate this expertise or using some specific rules, seeing if the preconditions are there. If the preconditions are there, I can apply the rules and I can explore and investigate in the space of states the different possibilities in order to find a solution. So this is expert system, and the other are machine learning approach. The expert system is based on logic and is based on what we call classical algorithm, algorithmic. So you have data, you have different instruction, you process the data with this instruction, and at the end, you have a solution. This is classical algorithm. Machine learning is more about the other way around. And when we call about machine learning, we often differentiate different approaches. So machine learning is the decision tree, the random forest, the k-nearest neighbor. This is also the neural network or the deep neural network you have certainly heard of. So one of the main category in machine learning is supervised learning. This is 90% of the application. You have also unsupervised learning, you have also recommendation, you have also different types, but just to be sure that you will get all the points, just in supervised learning. So supervised learning is learning for being given the right answer. So you have an X input and you have a Y output, and you learn the relation between the X and the Y. So if you are presented a new X, you can determine the Y. Okay, so you build a model based on data, a label data, you have an X, you have a Y, and then from this learning, you can apply on unknown data or new data the model in order to say, okay, this is an X, but I haven't seen it yet, and this is probably a Y solution. And we can distinguish regression and classification. Some examples, you have an email, you have to decide is it a spam or not. This is used in Google. So you label a series of spam and say, okay, this is spam, this is spam. Okay, the algorithm is trying to understand the relation between certain email and the fact that it is a spam or not. And then you use the model in the new coming emails to classify them. You make errors, you correct them progressively, and then you have a better and better tool. Audio to text transcript. So if you have an input, the voice, you have an output, the text. Okay, you make the relation between them, you try to learn it, and now on new vocals, you can transform it into text, even if you haven't heard it before. That is the English to Spanish, the same. So we learn from huge corpus of text, for example, the European Commission corpus. So we have a text in French, we have a text in Spanish, we know that they are the same. We try to learn how to map one text on the other, and now we use the translator, which is the model, from a new English text into a Spanish one. Okay? This is the same for image and radar, for add user info. So, for example, you try a different website, you want to see, okay, will they click or not? You can do A/B test, but you will learn progressively what is the best information to send to a specific person in order to make him click. And so forth. So image of the phone, so in manufacturing, you have many images of what you produce, okay? And some of them have default, and you learn on that. You say, okay, there is a default there, there is a default there. You learn there, and then in production, you use it in order to stop the machine if there is a default. Okay? This is supervised learning, so you know the label, you know the classification, or you know the figures We call classification when the output is one class, so a little number of possibilities. We call it regression when you have a continuous estimation of something. For example, how will I get in return from my investment? So this is a continuous value. The clustering or unsupervised learning is based on data that are not labeled. Okay, you have data. You can characterize this data. You have attributes for all the items you have, you observe, and then you try to create categories. So you do not have categories, you try to create some groups. And so it is used, for example, by Google, or you have an article that is interesting, and it will try to find the most similar articles to suggest it to you. So it will have a measure of the similarity of the different items without having a labeling before and trying to propose you some text that looks similar to the one. So based on similarities and dissimilarities, you will be proposed some grouping, some clustering, it is called, in the data. So it is used for the news, it is used in the biology, in research, for example. You look at some patient and you see that some react in some way, the other react in another way. A priori, you did not know that there were 2 categories or 3 or 4 categories, but it's an exploratory process. Then you can mix this approach also in hybrid learning, and you can mix the bottom-up and top-down approach. Why is it? Because in the bottom-up approach, you have very efficient things, sometimes, but you cannot really explain in a natural language way the expertise that led to this conclusion. It is an optimization of a mathematical model of sometimes 155 billion of parameters. This is the case for GPT-3. So it's not really, you can understand, but you cannot explain. And with the rules, explicit rules that you have modelized from the expert and using it in an expert system, you can explain in a better way. So we mix it together, okay? So to resume, okay, I must go faster. So traditional programming, you have rules and data. You process with the algorithm the data with the rules and you got the answer. In machine learning, you have the data, you have the answer, the label, and then you have the rules, the algorithm as output that is called the model. Okay? Okay, nowadays, what happens? Because of Ellen Rich, so we are focusing on what AI is doing less good as the human being. At the end, we are here. Artificial intelligence nowadays supersedes human beings for some specific task. So it's really important to understand that we are not at all in a general intelligence framework. We have not common sense. We do not pass, but in some specific, very narrow context, the Turing test. But for specific tasks, we do better than human. And this is the case, for example, in radiology. So we have better diagnosis in radiology. This is the case also for recognizing images now. So this is the case in many different tasks, but these are narrow and specific tasks, okay? So why is it the case? Because of big data, we can gather enormous quantity of data. We can learn from this data. For example, I gave you the example of the radiologist, but a radiologist, the best one in the world, will see 100,000, I don't know, radio in his life. And the computer can see millions in the afternoon. So that's why it will also see correlation that are not accessible to human processing power, or expertise. So big data is important. The second thing is we use the GPU, I use the infrastructure, and the processor are really have really improved. Then new algorithm has been created. This is not true that we knew everything since years and years. So many things are still valuable and true, but we have defined, and it is so rapid that it is difficult in some way. It is so rapid that researchers in AI, in Google, in Facebook labs, or in other labs says, okay, I could not imagine that 3 months before I presented to you. It is so rapid that sometimes the research lab are not in advance compared to the private sector. So that's why you have many fluidity between them. So the fourth aspect is the talent, and this is the main challenge also. So artificial intelligence must be used also with the talent. So little digression registered to elements of AI, and you can note that 44% of the attendees are women, and that is super because we should absolutely improve the presence of women in the digital, or offer the condition so that women are there. Generic technology, so what are the generic technology? What are the algorithms I told you about? Mainly for vision, so we can recognize faces, we can recognize in a crowd how many people there are, how much time they spend between a store, for example. We can interpret better images, medical images. We can compute in a moving environment and recognize the different aspects. We can have similar image. So, okay, I saw a series and I love the clothes there. I would like to find it in another store. I can do it with correlation, quality of photos, natural language processing. The progress in this domain has been incredible since the recent year. So you can recognize the speech, you can produce the speech, you can interact with chatbot or voice bot, you can do the translation. So for the image, it was in 2012, ImageNet, first success of deep learning methods. In 2016, the improvements were incredible with NLP, natural language processing, in traduction. But today, we will not enter into the detail. Browser or search engine, you can extract data, you can say, okay, these are the different comments of the people regarding a topic, and these are the feelings that are expressed. You can also produce automatically and generate some text with more and more accuracy. Robotics, so we know the industrial robots, but more and more we are in the service robots. And the most telling example is the driving car, the autonomous driving car. We will not discuss if it is possible or not, where we are exactly, but the idea is it illustrates here different things. The convergence of all the technology. So on the driving car, you have something that sees the scene, interpreted. You have something that manages the energy. You have something that manages the security of the engine. You have many different technology, 40 on this. I use DALI 2 to see an autonomous car on the Grand Place. You see it. And it illustrates also the societal challenges because what was in the report of Obama's administration in 2016 was, okay, we should invest in AI as much as we did for the moonshot, to go to the moon. And one of the main topic was autonomous driving car. And then the labor market, because 15% of the Americans are drivers. So how we do? And okay, what else? So if you are on the moral machine, this is really a telling example also. You have a car, you have some people passing by, crossing the road. Okay, what do you do? How do you react? How should I program? Make it sense? How should I program all this? Because these are program interacting. Who is responsible for that if there is an accident? But what are the moral rules or ethical rules I must implement in order to manage that? This is also one of the main questions. So this is a telling example of the societal challenges, the competencies, the investment, and so forth, the autonomous car. So the story, I will go through that. So from 1997 with Deep Blue winning against Kasparov, we have progress every year, and it is more than every year. In fact, if you try to follow it, it's quite impossible. Quite impossible because there are many, many different aspects, but you have to understand the general categories, application, and so, or being specialized in NLP, for example, or a specific part of NLP. So, just like electricity, this is Andrew Ng. So the slide I showed you with the X and Y are coming from a Coursera course of Andrew Ng, which is probably the most excellent professor teaching machine learning. He's also said, okay, we are in the fourth revolution. We are, it's just like electricity. So it will make everything evolve. So I asked the students, it's not student, but often I ask, what are the domains that are not related to AI or where AI cannot be applied? In fact, there are only a few answers to that. So it is applicable for transport, for health, for manufacturing, finance, insurance, for labor, comment on dit, agriculture, utilities, distribution, media, and so forth and so forth. So why is it so important? It is already there. So you use at least, so Laurence Jacobs and Omar Mohamed in their boek Nooit nog normaal zeggen dat we gebruiken 10 AI-toepassingen per dag. We use at least 10 AI applications in a day without being conscious of that. So the increase of the global market is by 13 million for 2030. So this is estimation by Mike Kitze, but this is consistent since years. So since 2012, 2010, 2012, every parameters are increasing from 30 to 60% every year, meaning the number of students, the investment, the number of companies, and so forth, the number of applications. Okay, so it is also important for the company, so because if they do not integrate AI, they will lose share market, exponential growth, I told you, coordinated plan, and so this is why it is important. It is not only about, so yeah, we just a little scoop, so I have little scoop in my presentation. The Miles Ahead Fund has been created. This is the first deep tech and AI startups fund in Belgium. And okay, intermediate conclusion. Andrew Ng told us about AI is the new electricity. Do you understand? Huh? That means that everything changes because you have electricity. Everything changes because you have AI. Okay? It's not only a technological breakthrough. All activities are impacted, but the role of parent, huh? Or some profession related to care, or the craft, but it is pervasive, okay? From agriculture to healthcare, aerospace, banking, fashion tech to digital humanities. It can help us to better understand how we function also. Okay, but beyond this transformation, society itself is undergoing profound change. The future of profession, education, the approach of public service, access to information, etc., etc. Some excesses have been observed, so the social credit score in China are also leading us to fundamentally rethink the values of our social pact. And that is why it is so important for AI in the public services. So I will tell you about the role of the government using AI, the different roles, and present you some use case. We hope much from AI. There are fears, we can discuss about that, but we hope much. So efficiency regarding the service cost saving, it can be personalized, so we can offer to one person a specific service that is adapted to him. We can enhance, for example, accessibility using computer vision and voice interfaces. It is not a digital divide that will deepen, but on the contrary, these are tools to reduce the digital divide. It's bottom up. Okay, it's bottom up, meaning, okay, we can use more and more data, integrate it, learn from it, and maybe have more policy support regarding that. So we've seen that during the COVID. So the actual use and hopes, we use it for health, mobility, energy, civic tech, justice, cybersecurity, and you will have the reference. So how do public administration use AI at present? So in the last report of the Joint Research Institute, and that was written by Colin Van Noort, that will end the series of seminar here. You have 686 cases. We are at the beginning of the adoption of AI in the public sector. It is in general public service. It's more at federal level than local level, or national level than local level. Not everything is fully implemented yet. We are at the beginning, and Belgium is on the average. So what are the roles of AI regarding the government? It can be a facilitator, so it can provide some infrastructure, some data in order to make AI more developed. It acts as a regulator, as a user, and as a developer. So I did not do it today because of lack of time, but it was interesting to see that most of the people attending the seminars consider that the role of facilitator or regulator are the most important, and the others much less important. I do not have the figures. Yeah, it's 43% that consider as a facilitator, 45% as a regulator, but only 5 to 6% for user and developer, and that is not true. Okay, so as a facilitator, you have the Gaia X initiative that is private. You have also the portal with open data. You will have a seminar related to open data, the use of open data, and the development of new application based on open data. As a regulator, it's funny to see that in this article from Nature, so it's serious, okay, good level. You have 89 in 2009, 89 declaration of ethics and what is important into it. And now we are converging. So the concepts are always the same: transparency, justice and fairness, non-maleficence, responsibility, and Europe published the ethics guidelines. So there are 7 requirements in the ethics guideline, and these ethics guidelines are the base of the AI Act that is under discussion at the moment. So what are they? So human agency and oversight. So at the end, it's always the human being that decides, but AI could not influence or even nudge the human being or manipulate him. Okay, this is the agency. Okay, oversight is decision. Agency is having a proper vision of what is what are the data, for example. Technical robustness and safety. So safety, it's clear. When you use a robot, okay, you have to take care. Technical robustness, you can have a very performant model that can be misled with specific in computer vision, changing some pixel. You do not see with your eyes, but it changes the classification. For example, you have a stop, and because you have changed some pixel, the model interpreted it accelerate. Okay, so we have to provide robustness on this aspect. Privacy and data governance, transparency, diversity, non-discrimination, and societal being and accountability. So it's interesting because with Alain, that is there in the team that joined us in August, and the AI ethics and assessment, AI ethics and law working group, with many different experts, and with the health, the AI4GOV, and AI for Human Resources working group, we are developing an AI assessment tool. And the different requirements here are perceived are more or less important depending on the domain or vertical of application. So for the Gov, it's transparency that is filled as the priority, absolute priority, non-discrimination and fairness, and in third position, equal privacy, data governance, and accountability. But in the health sector, we do not care so much about transparency, but the accountability is very important. So it's important also to understand that we have a general framework. We do not want to slow down the innovation, but we should also develop and understand what is it, what's behind it. And that is important that you follow this kind of, I hope that is interesting enough. But understand what is behind, not in full detail, but it changed. And so we will have to define standard, for example, depending on the different domain. So the AI Act, I will not enter into the detail, but the main thing is the framework is we classify the different kind of application in unacceptable application because there is unacceptable risk. For example, the social credit score in China, not having access to the public services because you have you are too slow, or this is not acceptable for us. High risk, so depending on the consequences it can have on the human being, this is related to health, this is related to recruitment, for example. Then we have a category of AI with specific transparency obligation, meaning you are discussing with a chatbot, you must know that you are discussing with a chatbot. And then minimal or no risk application. This is the example of Alain and team is developing at the moment. It's the AI ethics assessment tool, and we will have in the next month the first version of it. So it means that different people are answering the question. The questions are related to the requirement I just presented to you. The different person can agree on some aspect or disagree on some aspect, and then you have a mapping of, okay, for transparency we are quite good, for etc., etc. You have an extract of that, so it can help, and it should be used from the beginning. It can help in developing new AI application and within the public services, because public services must be exemplary. So ethics by design is one of the key messages. So concrete use case. Job break at VDAB in Flanders. So tell us your current and previous experience. So you write down in an open text your experience. Okay, and from there you extract the information and you can see what is accessible or not as job offer and what are the training you could follow to access some of the job offers. Okay, this is so great. And then, yeah, you have the skill that you have, the skill that you don't have, etc., etc. So it helps you. Okay. In the Estonian parliament, speech recognition systems are used to transcribe the parliamentary session. I dream of having in Belgium, in every meeting, Dutch and French translation that is at the good level. That could be a project in the coming years. So it is used, and this is from Colin Van Noort report. VDAB, we knew it, but this is from. Okay, automatic appointment of a reporting judge at the French Court of Cassation. This is already deployed, and this has been developed by a ULB professor, Gregory Lefkovitch, in collaboration with École Polytechnique and the French Court of Cassation. So the lawyers have a case, they do their conclusion, and then this conclusion must be affected to one judge. Okay? So it takes, at the moment, 3 months. Why? Because someone in between must read every text and the conclusion of the different lawyers and the procurer and so, and then decide, okay, this can be affected to that judge or that judge. And it takes 3 months. And huge quantity of human processing. And then, so the training where the different conclusion on the different section, because the judge are specialized in different classes, okay? We have 237 conclusions labeled, because in the past, we know what the judge has judged, okay? So we have the label. And now from there, for a new text, we can decide, okay, go there or go there, go there. There is 95% accuracy, and rather than 3 months, it takes 8 seconds. So with word embedding, I will not enter into it, but if you want. Graph mining, so we can analyze the case, we can transform a text into a vector in a mathematical space, and then see are the texts similar or not. And we can see also on the conclusion or on the case, we can group similar cases and see what has been decided. Is it positive for the person or not? What are the trends? Is the judge always saying, okay, no to this kind of people or not? So we can now, these are clustering methods, so we cluster the different groups of decision based on the text we have, and then we try to analyze it and to say, okay, the claimant wins, the defendant wins, or it is a noun. And so we do better understand how justice is processed. We can accelerate maybe some cases. So this is already deployed, and this is research. This is only research, but just to make you think a bit out of the box. Sixth case is Country for Tomorrow. So we published a platform to ask citizens how they see the future of Belgium regarding the Grondwet, regarding the Constitution. Okay, so several questions, open question, and then we received around 100,000 answers. Hopefully, there is nobody in my team or in BOSA team that must read these answers and say, okay, I guarantee you, they say that. This is the synthesis. Okay, so we use NLP to process that, to see what are the concepts, are some concept outliers, is there new ideas in that? These are they related to some proposal that have been made? Are they positively felt or not? And so forth. But you can also imagine how the people and the citizen can react with the use of this. The fact is that not using it is proven to be less efficient. So you can say, okay, I won't use artificial intelligence to diagnose my cancer, but that would be stupid in some way. So it is important that you human as the decision can discuss about that, but help the things. But even with that, there is some effect that we have to manage. For example, the doctor says, okay, the artificial intelligence has said that I'm not responsible anymore, and that's not true. So so it's as every new technology, we have to learn how to use it. country for tomorrow, a chatbot as a managed service, not without BOSA. This is our new tagline. So you have an accord cadre. You can use it if you want to develop a chatbot in your service. Okay, it has been proven successful for Sailor, for example. Beneath on the left, this is used in Denmark. So you call the urgency, and if they feel in your voice that there is a risk you have a cardiovascular accident, they send you immediately an ambulance. Without asking any question, even the person that is answering is not conscious that the ambulance is gone. And this saves life. Another point we can discuss is about how to share the data, why the people are so keen on sharing their data on Facebook and do not trust to have some comments in order to improve the common good. Okay, so I will not enter into it now, but there are many applications that could be useful with gathering this kind of data. The fake news also, the trust is really something important for the government. You know that some fake news has been launched and that on the stock market some companies loses 12% in 30 seconds or I don't know, 2 hours because of fake news. So how do we manage that? How can we use artificial intelligence in order to avoid fake news or avoid filtering bubble? Do you know filtering bubble? So with the social networks, you believe you communicate with all the world, but in fact you communicate with the likewise mindsets of you. So you are not exposed to any other diversity, and that's why Donald Trump was elected without Boston or San Francisco even imagine that. Okay? Is it clear? So startbusinessbelgium.be, this is an aggregator. This is used within the Belgian Federal Public Services. So you have a profession, you go into all the rules of the monitor, and you say, okay, you have to fill in this requirement in order to apply for this profession. This is the police. So we can use different data from text, from videos, from different clues in an inquiry. We can integrate it in a smart way, and so there is a mass solution developed in order to aggregate, in order to offer the security, in order to better identify what are the crimes or the evidence, not clues, sorry. So this is now used by the federal police. This is an example from Joachim, who is in the room. You have used NLP to identify spam or to classify the emails. So that would be really a dream. I think the one huge challenge is the management of the emails. This is awful at the moment. So there are too many emails, they are not well managed. Here, if immediately it is redirected to the right person, for example, we will save much time. This is from ONSS, Receive. So RPA, chatbot, virtual assistant are used. So then I use DALL-E 2 with some specific sentence. So this is a photo of a Belgian civil servant using multiple screen and augmented reality to process a huge quantity of information. So just the next step. I was in Amsterdam 2 weeks ago for the World AI Summit. And okay, the metaverse is present everywhere. The convergence of all the technologies is present everywhere. Another example is in the refugees camp, for example. You use blockchain and you use computer vision and face recognition in order to give every refugee some money, and they can spend it in the refugee camp, and you are sure that he is not stolen the money of another, And okay, we are, but yeah, this is concretely used, and this is quite useful. So the convergence of the technologies and more far, continuous learning. So I told you a bit about supervised, unsupervised, hybrid learning, and not so much about reinforcement learning. But the continuous learning is the new trend that is used in the supply chain of information. So you will not have to program. So, for example, Gregory Ona has developed a company that is monitoring all the big companies regarding their social responsibility. So they go on the web, see their information, and do a report automatically saying, okay, Apple, you are using some children to work with some subcontractors, and then automatically aggregating, synthesizing information, and then process it to you. And you are the expert. This is a new job. Huh? You have the info coming from this AI, and you say, okay, I think it's valid or not, or I would ask this question or not. And the machine will learn from the question you ask and learn from you in a continuous way. So you do with your children, for example. You explain, okay, this is an elephant. So you have a trompe, you have okay. This is an elephant, and then it will not need 10 millions of images to learn, okay? So it's a hybrid mode of learning that is continuous, and you adjust from time to time. So we will have new jobs also, but that means that critical mindset, collaboration, communication, all these soft skills are more and more important at the same time. Okay? I don't know. So have you understood that these images were produced only based on the text I put? Okay? So this report will be presented by Colleen. Key findings. So we are at the beginning. Most cases are found in national administration rather than local, but in Belgium it's particular. So, for example, in Flanders they do well. In Wallonia they have launched also a Startia initiative to help the public sector get their first application. 1 second for my notes, maybe to synthesize here. So yeah, 38% of our chatbots and matching services, 20% of the application are enforcement, fraud detection, 20% internal management automation, and more efficient application. You do not see all my slide. 17% for the support, decision support, and 5% for adjudication. Little scoop, so the federal plan is under discussion at the moment. There are 9 main objective, but I will not enter into it. The 9th one is about the public services, the other one about, among other, the societal challenges I told you about. So the takeaway, so what are in the coming years the priorities? So 1 and 4 are the priorities. So promote an EU value-oriented, inclusive, human-centric and trustworthy AI in the public sector, and then apply and monitor sustainability through value-oriented AI impact assessment, co-created framework. So that's exactly what we are doing. At the same time, the long-term objective, but we are front-runner in Belgium, enhance coordinated governance, convergence of regulation, and capacity building. And then 3, build a shared and interactive AI digital ecosystem. On this point, AI4Belgium is very active. It's in the report of the European Commission. It's already named in the Chambre, for example. And regarding objective 2, so enhance coordinated governance, convergence of regulation, this is for the moment really difficult to follow because there is the AI Act, there is the GDPR, but there is the Digital Market Act, Digital Service Act, Digital Act, Digital Governance Act, the liability on AI regulation, and so forth and so forth. So at the moment, it's quite complicated, but we will succeed in that, hopefully. So take it away. Maybe I did not insist so much about that, but this is important. Maybe for next seminar, you will have a seminar about data, but data is crucial, the data management, the data gathering, the data quality, because if you learn from data that are not good, you will learn stupidities. Huh? Okay, when we talk about AI, we are talking about humans and the future of our society and democracy. So this is a key message. It is multidisciplinary, and in fact, we are talking about the human. Exemplarity is in respecting the ethics guideline is fundamental, top of the list of emerging tech trends since 2022 in Gartner. So this means that there is a willing to have ethics technology who better understand. So engineers must open their eyes, but the CEO or the business owner must also better understand what's under AI. Okay? So pluridisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, inclusive teams with the cultural aspect are also important. So inclusivity is important. Women is, okay, one of the main challenge also for Belgium. Ethics by design, so from the beginning, not at the end of the development of your solution, not asking, okay, how the citizen will react with that. No, from the beginning, ethics by design. Skill and competencies are probably the main challenge. Using AI integrates always an exploratory process. I did not enter into this detail, but Kevin François will tell us about the management of an AI project and how it is different from a classical deployment of an ICT application. Demystifying is key. I saw yesterday someone send me from Libération, I don't know, a paper, an article in Libération, discussing about, okay, we asked an artificial intelligence to do a little movie about the evolution of human. And so you had the monkeys and the sapiens and then the human, and then at the end some robots and some matrix at the end with a terrific music. So my friend believed, okay, do you imagine the artificial intelligence wants that? And I tell him, no, it's only that in the data she can gather, in the future we mainly talk about dystopia rather than utopia. So let's make AI an utopia. So how can we integrate the technology and make a better world? So last but not least, register on AI4Belgium if it is done, not yet done, and follow the activities. Elements of AI for those who are not registered, the next seminars. So next steps and call to action. So you have the Belgian conference of the Benelux. So this is scientific, so you have to know. So if you are a beginner, not going there on 8 and 9 of November. On 16 November, I did not have the time to put it on the slide. There is a super event organized by FARI AI for the Common Good about AI for the youth, how the young people can learn about AI, how they can use about AI. And this is the list of the next seminar. So AI open source tool, AI ethics and law by Nathalie Smua. Nathalie is the writer of the ethics guidelines. She is Belgian. She has finished her PhD. She will present it in December. Just the day after the seminar, so please come with flowers. Michel Herquet is the CEO of B12 and will present AI open source tools. So there are many available tools. And that's why also we do have another way of using AI than classical, because everything is available, at least data governance with Stephen Lattre, who is the AI guy responsible for AI at IMEC. And citizen-led public services, this is also inspirational. So could the citizen propose the future of the public service, and the government and administration provide the framework and help and sustain and support the good ideas? How can we have a mix between this. And Colin Van Noord is the guy finishing his PhD about AI in public services. He is the reference on the domain. The European AI Week, so it is not confirmed yet, but it will probably take place the last week of March. This is many, many events in hybrid mode, and for everybody you have something. So if you are an expert, you have something. If you are a citizen, you want to debate and better understand about it, you have something. So then register on the YouTube channel. You can see many seminars on the web TV, the LinkedIn account, register on Elements of AI, and register to AI4GOV, the working group. And this presentation was not written by an artificial intelligence, Alan Turing emulating René Magritte. Thank you for your attention. Okay, I don't know if there is some question how we manage this phase, because we can network, but there are some people online. I was perfectly clear, I think. So thank you for being there, and I suggest we have informal networking there for a few minutes. And contact us. So there is AI4Belgium at boza.fgov.be. The team is growing, and in the coming months, because we are not able to face every request at the moment, but you can participate to the event. If you want to participate and to contribute, we can also see, okay, go there, but we will develop a center of expertise to help every people within the federal administration in implementing their first AI projects. Thank you. Voilà.